Hi, it's Jesse Perlman, and it's time for another fresh perspective. And this time it's life in the time of COVID 19. This is going to be a more serious conversation than my previous ones. We are experiencing a pandemic the likes of which we haven't seen since last century, early last century. And with it is coming massive upheaval and disruption. We hear the phrase new normal, finding the new normal. What will be the new normal? Will we shake hands? Will we high five? What will change in our condition as humans? In relationship to each other, in some ways in relationship to ourselves, but most certainly in relationship to our world. Everyone is being impacted. The first world and emerging first world and strong second world nations are being hit hard. Infrastructure, economy. No one was as well prepared as they may have been, and some nations have responded well and quickly, and other nations are not, and figuring it out as they go. In America, ours has been a response that, regardless of one's political leanings, was less serious than it might have been for the occasion. And however we got here, we're here. And what I like to talk about as an agilist and a person who thinks about things is, in the time of disruption, in the time of upheaval, there is also opportunity. The opportunities here are from the minuscule to the macrocosmic. And when I say the minuscule, I'm reaping benefits of virtual technologies, being able to be with my daughters on each coast and play a game on our cell phones that we share and have the table talk just like we were in a living room having a family night. And were it not for COVID, we probably wouldn't have done it. We would have been so focused on our lives and our own personal energies that we would have pursued those things and checked in as we always did via Marco Polo and other means that we have at our disposal. But it wasn't the same as sitting around a table and sharing a night and talking and allowing the concerns and worries that we felt to be dissipated through the shared common experience of comfort, focusing our attention on something else. So this re-socialization through virtualization is a real benefit, I feel. We are leaning into the technologies that exist. We must, because we stay at home. And what we are also doing that we may not be thinking about as clearly, though now we should be, and communicating back to our parent organizations, is that working remote is a reality. It is sustainable. It is supportable for a great many industries that no longer produce physical things. If I am not manufacturing a thing, if I am not producing something for publication, if I am not making a textile of some form for consumption, then my job can be supported remotely. What I used to do in an office, I can do at home. Now, working remotely, note the phrase, working remotely is not the same as working from home Working from home is the assumption that for a day or two I might work from home and I have a little office and it's off to the side and I do my things. Working remotely is very, very different, and it takes advantage of the various technologies that exist nowadays to be able to, as I do, go out for a hike. And in the middle of the hike, check in at work, see if there's anything that's calling my attention, and be able to respond directly from my cell phone. Put it back in, refocus back on my hike, and without disruption, have served both elements of my life. Personal, getting my walk in, and professional, solving a problem, delivering a value. Now, not everyone works in the same industry as I do. I'm a consultant. I work in scaled agility, business agility. And so mine is thought work. Mine is concepts and process and people and conflict and resolution and facilitation and soft skills, which we're starting to understand aren't so soft anymore. That these are social, emotional skill sets that help people function together. We need that ability to function together. We are social, but we're used to small social circles. When we work together, we're working with people from very different elements of our lives. Well, we're doing that now, but it's all remote. It's all virtualized. So this now gives us the same ability. But what we need more than ever are those people who are capable of saying, I understand what both Abdul is saying and Farid is saying, and I'm telling you that it's this. Does anybody not understand this? Excellent. We all understand. Now, do we understand the point that was being made? We do. Can we move forward with the conversation? We're going to need this more than ever in a virtual reality because we don't have the same social cues we used to have, the physical presence, that change in attitude that you could feel when somebody would stiffen up. You don't have that. So you have to be more engaged and more aware. And this is an opportunity for all of us to put down our phones, to turn off our music, and to be a little bit more present with the person or persons we're interacting with. And strive with patience and empathy, because we are all in the same condition, to understand what it is they truly need in this moment, in this conversation, in this meeting, whatever it might be. We're all defining a new way of living. We're all, in some regard, fearful that how we used to live cannot continue. No, it can't. And the one thing that we know is true about life is that it's always changing. And we evolve and adapt to those changes so that we might survive. Now, humanity as a whole is not at risk. As a species, this hominid will be wandering around its various continents and places on this planet once COVID goes away. This is not threatening our species. What this is truly threatening is our current economic way of life. Now, we can consider COVID-19 as a forcing function on societies, globally and locally, to say the way in which we have been working no longer works. So I started with working remotely. I actually started with how in a remote way I'm having enjoyment with my family, how I'm gaining value out of this disruption, how from that, with those technologies and the ability to work remotely, I can then schedule my life in such a way to find a balance to the way I want to live and provide the most value back to my organization that is paying me. And then I took it a step further and said what's happening doesn't threaten our survival as a species. Now, individuals are threatened, certainly, and this is a very real and a very horrific time. Deaths are mounting. I'm not dismissing that. There is still the opportunity to recognize things can be done better, because what is being proven by this pandemic, this global crisis, is that most everyone economically was ill prepared for this. Our economy couldn't withstand a stop. People not doing things. People not buying things. And now we have plans by governments to do economic stimulus and take care of its constituents. Now in America, its constituents no longer means individual citizens. It means the individual citizens and corporations that populate America. So the stimulus package will be split so that some of corporate citizens in America will get what they need, and then individual citizens in America will get what they need. When I asked my daughters the other week, and I should have asked myself because I certainly realized these last 2 days I have not been handling this as well as I thought I might have been. Thus, these conversations I hear on YouTube. I asked them, I know we seem to be coping very well with this moment in time. Things continue to be a little bit unimpeded. One daughter is a teacher, can work remotely. Her husband is a police officer serving his community. The other daughter is currently a stay-at-home mom raising an incredible young daughter, getting ready to put her into school, and was thinking about what she was going to do to work, right? Ready to resume, a job. And her husband works for the government, helping build naval vessels. So kind of a mission critical role. So minimally impacted. In the main, minimally impacted. So I asked, is there something that I'm not aware of? We seem to be doing well. If there is, let me know. My oldest daughter got back to me on Marco Polo, and she said, Dad, I have a lot of anxiety about this $2 trillion. Where is it coming from? And I think a lot of people now are looking around and saying, where is this money coming from? What does this mean? If I can't go to work, if my business can't function, if no money is moving through the system, you are going to give me money to put into the system so I can get the things out of it that I need. Which tells me at a point in crisis that a federal response is appropriate to protect the well-being of the nation, which was the construct of a government, a national state. Family, clan, tribe, religion, nation state. Well, aristocracy, nation state. Aristocracy, religion, kind of mixed middle. Nation state, democracy. It tells me that the federal response should be everything's free. If I'm going to give you the money to go buy it, why don't I just tell you everything's free? I'll give the money to the people who are producing it. They're the ones who want the money anyway. It's mine. Give me something for it. Here's your money. Give it to the people who need it. This is no different than what a popular economic theory is about how to handle automation. Right? Robots, autonomous vehicles, they're coming. 500 million jobs will be lost. Well, guess what? COVID is now the test case for what happens when 500 million jobs are lost. 500 million jobs are lost. This is an iteration on a global crisis that's coming. And that one is 500 million people will have no means of income to produce income for themselves. They will lose their jobs. Robots and autonomous vehicles will have surplus the whole lot of them. truck drivers, gas station attendants, you name it, you call it, whatever it is, that if it can be done by a robot, it's going to be done by a robot. And we see kiosks and other automated things replacing where humans once stood. And we hear this constantly. What happens to the humans? So back to the popular economic theory, universal basic income. And it works like this. You no longer have a job. The entity in charge, be that a government or what have you, let's just call it the entity in charge, is going to give those people who cannot earn an income the money that is necessary for them to buy the basic necessities. Basic. You basic. You basic bitch. That's basic. Which means you get the minimum of what's necessary. You get the poverty food and the poverty furniture. You get the crap. And those who can earn an income get to buy luxury, get to entitle themselves, get to give themselves the gift of good stuff because they can produce. They have value. Now they're lucky. They just haven't been superannuated by a thing that could replace them as of yet. And we always, before I go off on a tangent, so the universal basic income is there to give you money to go put into this system so you can get the things that you need. Now, if the cost of production and the cost of transportation has become essentially almost non-existent due to robots, autonomous behaviors, AIs, who are handling all that drudge and grudgery work and moving things and doing this and growing that and grabbing and doing and pushing and shoving. If the cost of production is negligible as to equal nothing, then you give it away. And you remove money from everybody. Just get rid of it. And you decide what's the norm. Because otherwise, what's really going on with the universal basic income is this.
Mom, can I have an allowance?
Yes, you can have $5, son.
Oh, thank you, Mom.
I'm going to go buy, son, you can only spend it in Mom's store.
But what?
Well, I want you to eat healthier, son, so you can buy carrots for $1. You can buy celery for $1. You can buy an apple for 50 cents. Want two for $1? So now Mom gets the money back. I've got money. Well, all Mom's got is a robot that's picking fruit and veggies, putting it right back on the shelf. So the next day, Timmy comes up and says, I'm hungry. Here's your $5. Go shopping in the store. Whoa. So Timmy goes shopping in the store, gives the $5 back to Mom, goes, eats his food, comes back, says, I'm hungry, here's your allowance, Timmy, go spend it in the store. Why not just open the damn refrigerator for your kid and let him fucking eat, huh? And that's no different than the universal basic income, which is simply saying, I have a bunch of money and no one else has money anymore. And I really like having money. So I'm going to give them money. Here you go. They're going to go spend that money in my store, and I'm going to go get the money back. Oh, I've got money again. Ooh, I've got money again. Here's your money. Wait. You've spent the money in my store again? Oh, I've got money. Here's your money. Go spend it. Oh, it's so exciting. It's like crazy. It's my store again? So it's a lie. It's a lie. Now people say, well, what happens when everything takes over? When all the robots and AIs do take over? When no one has a job anymore? Well, We, because that's going to happen at some point, right? I mean, it's just the natural conclusion, unless we get, Terminator. We have the singularity, Skynet. Uh-oh. So why not just start now, guys? Why not just say, screw it? And the truth is, we've had the means and the technology since the 1960s. The 1960s. I'm 55, so 60 years ago, at least, the technology existed to provide everyone in the world with an equal measure of everything so that we could all sustain ourselves. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Why don't we do that? Because we have an economy, a false economy built on the concept of, if I do a thing for you, you fucking owe me. And the very first economy that humanity ever had to crawl itself up out to light a fire and carry a torch and paint something on the wall of the cave to say, I exist, I am more than just an animal, was help. And the help economy works like this. Hey, looks like you're having trouble. Can I help you? Because if I'm having trouble next time, you can help me. That's the intent. We're social. We take care of each other. We're actually a social animal. What we got confused was putting money in the damn system. At some point, well, that's not where it really happened. It really happened with agriculture. When wheat tamed humanity, right? When wheat said, hey, if you grow me in sufficiency, I can provide you food aplenty. And an agrarian society was born. The moment you have an agrarian society where some are producing where some are producing the majority of what gets consumed by the majority, you start getting into, I have more, you have less, you give me this, I'll give you that, because now you have critical resources that are no longer freely available in the world. Can't just walk around, pick up some lettuce, gnaw on that, kill a rabbit, eat that. I have to go either work and do labor in a field and then get a handout, or I have to have a sufficiency of that resource that others are coming to me to do the work. Whatever that resource is, salt at one point, right? Salt worth his weight in salt. Salt was more precious than gold. Worth his weight in gold? I don't know if worth his weight in salt is. Roman times, salt was a precious commodity. Gold has always been a precious commodity. These things, hard to receive, hard to attain, hard to hang on to resources, some pretty, ooh, it's pretty, hard to have pretty gold. Some hard to have and hang on to because body needs it, salt. Doesn't just make food taste good, the body needs it. So these things form economies. When we have an excess of a thing, others have a shortage, supply and demand, and now we're into capitalism in one way or another. And the moment you have capitalism, you're always looking at a bottom line. And the bottom line in capitalism is, if I have the thing and you don't, and no one else has it, I can ask for as much as I want. If you really want it, you'll pay it. So give me what I want for the thing you need. Give me what I want for the thing you need. EpiPen. $1,500. Give me what I want for the thing you need. Ventilators. Why do you want those? Don't you have enough? Give me the thing I want for the thing you need. There's nothing more debasing to humanity than having to beg for one's survival. to sacrifice for one's survival, to give up what one had worked hard for just so they can have food in their mouth for the next day. And we're seeing this play out. So what's the other opportunity here? As I said, an opportunity to understand a new way forward. If autonomy is coming, let's embrace it and understand the new infrastructure that's going to give us the transportation to provide the food and the items that everybody needs to survive, and let's get money off the table so that we can focus on the real problems, which is spanning the globe, global warming. And if you don't think Mother Earth hasn't had a hand in this to one extent or another to slow down what humanity has been racing towards, I don't know what to say. But the other thing that this pandemic is proving now, with everybody being stuck at home, besides we can work from home, is that only necessary transportation is taking place and pollution levels are plummeting around the globe. We're still over the tipping point, by the way. Over 400 parts per million carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. We really don't know exactly what the hell is going to happen. And until we can bring balance back to our atmosphere, restore it back to its balance, remove the greenhouse gases that are amplifying the effect of heat on Earth, we're screwed. So everything that we can do to minimize our impact on an already overburdened system, we need to start doing now. So COVID is a way of showing us now how we can repress those excessive behaviors as a globally spanning creature that have been causing imbalance in the larger system. And if you don't think perverse weather throughout the year, spiking temperatures, plummeting temperatures, weird weather throughout the year, is an indicator of a problem on a global nature, then you should talk. We should talk. I need to understand what fear you're dealing with. Because the other thing that we're starting to understand right now, more than ever, is that we're all seeking the same thing in a great time of uncertainty. And that's information that helps us figure out how we're going to do the things we need to do to survive. Eat, pay bills, get through the day. Survival is a focusing effect. It brings attention to the situation. And we're all starting to recognize we want to survive. Individually. Right now, that's the response. I really don't care much about other people. I don't want to die. And don't let mine die. That's a generalized kind of statement I'm making. But that's what it is. I don't want to die. Don't let mine die. We are all seeking the same thing. Safety. If I survive, I need to feel safe. And to feel safe, I have to understand how I get the things I need to stay alive, to survive. How do I get food? How do I get money? How do I get affection, attention, whatever it is? How do I get it? When we understand that we are surviving and that our sense of safety is contingent upon understanding how we survive, then our sense of security, which we all need as a sense of security, is a way of understanding how far we can extend our sense of safety. Am I safe for one day? Do I have enough food for one day? Do I have enough food for 2 days? Do I have enough food for 3 days? Do I have enough food for 4 days? Do I have enough food for 2 weeks? Do I have enough food for Armageddon? Some of the preppers are very happy right now. We have toilet paper. And America, please, I'm going to take a second here and just call you out. Like a respiratory ailment, and you're buying toilet paper. And I've asked this question of other people, and they're like, oh, there was a meme that came out of this time back in 2017. So if social media has been your frame of reference for things. I hope you've broadened your worldview a little bit to recognize that may not be the best case. I have on my phone nothing but news apps. AP, Reuters, Daily, Local, New York Post, New York Times, you name it. If there's an app for investigative journalism, which I can find to be as unbiased as possible, not just generated in America, but abroad, I will read that. I do not watch the news, and I do not use social media. Except for this, like Facebook, not on your life. LinkedIn, professionally, certainly. But I'm not invested in Instagram. I'm not an influencer. I don't want to be an influencer. I'm not on Facebook on a regular basis because it is an alternate universe of facts. It is not a real world. It is truly a virtual reality. And when we talk about echo chambers and confirmation biases, that's one of the things that we're dealing with right now. And there's another opportunity in America and globally to break down these barriers of perception. These false barriers of perception. The Chinese virus, the Wuhan virus, it's the COVID-19, thank you very much. Point of origin means nothing. The Spanish flu, certainly, that was back in the day. But it means nothing. It's biasing. It's prejudicial. It's wrong-minded. Agilists don't get hung up on whose fault it was. They look for the point in time where something occurred that could have been different. And they try and retrospective. They have a conversation and they try and remove the emotional output from it to understand objectively why it went wrong and how to fix it going forward. And that's really what's required right now. Isn't finger pointing, isn't saying I have great approval or bad approval or it's a witch hunt or a hoax or any of that fucking shit. It's not about that shit. It's about being clear, about being factual, about reducing uncertainty through confident, concise, and clear communication. We all feel better in times of uncertainty when someone says, I know it can be done, and here's how we're going to do it. Who can help? And we all lean in and say, I can do that. In a time of crisis, when we turn to a person who is presumed to be a leader and we get, figure it out, that's exactly what we do, but uncertainty spikes. And when uncertainty spikes, confidence drops because the things we used to know are no longer applicable and we're uncertain about how things will work or do work and move forward with. So when we say things that are biasing, when we say things that are limiting in nature, that make us look at a small thing when it should be a big thing, is an opportunity right now to break. And we do this by casting aside social media as a primary source of information and treat it what it should be as a primary source of entertainment. I'm going to get a t-shirt made that says, it's going to say, humans are social, media is not. Because humans are social and the media is not. Media removes everything we need to understand each other. The physical cues. The social media removes the physical cues, the tension, the energy that we can, and without the ability to have a clear dialogue about what was posted or said, it makes it difficult. And security is built on information. When I know and can understand how I am to take care of myself, my confidence goes back up, my ability to execute goes up, and I am reducing the panic that surrounds me, and I'm calming other people because I have focus and I can go on my way. So globally, it's time to make a recognition that we are one, that there is no separation, and that it will take all of us to work on this together to solve this problem, and coming back to the bigger problem, solve the global crisis of global warming and how to reduce our emissions. Now, America right now is sitting very still, and here's another opportunity. We just watched, oh, that was wrong. We just watched, my screensaver came on. We just watched, and I don't know if we're still watching because I haven't checked the news on this one just yet, an oil price war between Russia and Saudi Arabia. Like, prices back to the 2000s. Ridiculous. And I become amused because America's sitting here, and in the 70s we were made oil dependent by the petrodollar, do your research, sitting here with a very unique opportunity to become the global leader in renewable energy sources. We have every kind of condition across the continental US and Alaska and Hawaii to support wind, geothermal, healthy hydroelectric, solar for days. And if we leaned in from a technology perspective right now and started focusing on how to become ever more efficient and produce ever better energy more efficiently from these systems, we can remove our dependency not just on oil, but the classic energy grid as it stands right now. And by having done so, we remove two old pieces of infrastructure, both in the physical world and the economic world, that need to be replaced. But when we do this, we cause disruption, and how can we solve that? By taking those industries and giving them a transition path. Oil, you're now going to carry energy. Or oil, you're going to transition into solar. And those who don't want to, that's cool. If you want a basic income before we can get to the universal world where everything is free and it's a service economy, you get to go retired. Here's your money. You want to get retooling? Here's your money. Go get retrained in something else. You want to retire to Florida? Go for it. But now we have said, here's your retirement path, because now we're going to take this energy and build new energy. And we can create the electrodollar. America could become so efficient at producing renewable energy, sustainable renewable energy, that we're exporting it to our neighbors and beyond. Now that's an economy I can get behind, where each individual who lives in, say, a perfectly functional but 100% renewable energy, self-sustaining domicile can now contribute back into an energy grid where other nations don't yet have the success with technologies, which, by the way, we're selling and contracting and doing the services for now. We're exporting our ability. We're teaching others. We're selling that. We're helping others gain this ability. And we're becoming, guess what? America again, as we used to behave, helping our neighbors through exporting technology, ideas, and robust ability. That's a vision we can get behind. Here's another one right now in this time of disruption. If they're going to play these games with gas prices and oil production, etc., hey, big three, well, you're no longer really the big three automotive manufacturers, are you? Globally, you're like big three, right? But local ownership's a joke, or national ownership's almost a joke as well. But if you're so upset at Elon Musk, A, stop producing ugly electric vehicles, and B, do me a real favor, especially you, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Daimler, Benz, whomever else you might be. I'm willing to pay you guys like $1,500, $2,000 and more to do it for an electric motor conversion kit for my Jeep JL. Right? Right now, you automotive people should be working on electric engine replacements. Keep your standard fleet, just make them all electric, and sell an electric replacement. Now, maybe there's some shortages in battery demand. Maybe there's some still technical issues with... No, that's right. In the 90s, the electric car was born and killed by Saturn. Watch that documentary, Who Killed the Electric Car. That'll open up your eyes a little bit. We could have been completely electric back then. We don't drive more than 300 miles We really don't. And if we do go cross country, electric vehicle, guess what? Maybe there's a thing where now with rapid charging, it's really not that disruptive, and we can stop, take a lunch, charge. Let's get over ourselves. Let's find that new way forward, because this is the truth about disruption. Disruption is opportunity for those who are agilely minded. Yes, I'm having to deal with a good bit of change in my life. Yes, there are some changes. But what is coming? How can I think best about the world that I want and help start to produce it? So that's what this whole rant has been about. Is just talking to you about life in the time of COVID and some of the opportunities that we might be able to find out there. If we think beyond the immediate moment, if we think about the next 5 to 10 years, what are the things that we need? I'll tell you what I believe we need. We need universal health care, where no person born in America ever has to worry again about their ability to stay alive. And it'll never cost them a penny. And universal education, good education, like study Finland. Like really good education, where we are raising a nation of young people who have solid critical thinking skills and who can help shape the world they want to live in. Because let's get it straight, people. It's usually guys my age or folks my age and older who are building the world they wished they had. Just like grandpa goes out and buys that old Mustang and fixes it up because that was the car he wished he had. And just like that old car that you're trying to fix up to drive brand new on the streets, it's never going to be as good as the one that's going down the street right next to you. May not look the same, may not sound the same, may not evoke the same memories, but performs a hell of a lot fucking better than the thing that you're driving in. So why are we sticking with the old model when we can be busy building the new model of behavior? So if everybody's educated and everybody can think, then we're all contributing in wise and healthy ways for the betterment, and not of the self, but of the whole. That's what service is. And we feel best when we're taking care of things, when we take care of each other, when we help our family, when we are helped by our family. We feel good. We are all one family. We're all seeking the same thing. It's just our context is very busy, very different. I see it one way. I'm a very liberal, progressive thinker. But I'm also incredibly conservative in certain areas. We all have these 5 elements, or 5? Is it 5? We have a progressive nature. How can I do things differently to get the rewards that I'm after? We have a liberal nature. How do I adopt those things others have done that have earned them success that others are not doing? We have a conservative nature. How do I keep doing the thing that I have done to continue to get the rewards it has given me? And then we all have a deprecating nature. And this is the part where humanity gets hung up, is we don't let go of the right things. We get stuck into conservatism on the wrong things. Oil? There's not enough of it? Let's drink it to the last drop. A conservative fiscal response is, well, don't disrupt the oil industry. That's a solid, we need that money coming in. No, we don't. Disrupt it. Find the opportunity in a whole new world of electrics. But that brings about the batteries. Batteries, oil. Had that conversation with my kids as well. Anything humanity does to power itself kills something. Whales for lamp oil. That one still blows my mind. Like, who was the guy who found a bunch of oil in a whale skull and went, you know what? Let's burn that. Ooh, it burns bright and better than kerosene. That was innovative thinking. And suddenly we had a better source, and suddenly these whales were going out of style left, right, and center. For what? Whale oil. We don't do that anymore. We used to pipe natural gas to give us light on the streets. We don't do that anymore. We used to have light bulbs that lit up the streets. We don't do that anymore. Then they changed the light bulb to the weird sodium yellow light. And now we've got LED. Evolution. And in every one of those evolutions, something else is being sacrificed. Some other resource has to go. Wind power threatens bird migratory patterns. A percentage of bird population will die. nuclear powers, nuclear power, Fukushima, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island. So why are we still piddling around when we know what's better? We once, in the 70s, condors were dying, pollution was ravaging the landscape, and there was a hole in the ozone. A hole in the ozone. Chlorofluorocarbons. Hairspray, underarm deodorant, all powered by a chlorofluorocarbon. And it ate a hole in the ozone. And now the ozone wasn't there to protect us and damage was being caused. And industries shifted in very quickly and found different propellants to restore the balance in our atmosphere. We did it once. Science told us. It's time for science to figure it out again. And here's another opportunity. Oh no, the mission to Mars is off. Oh, a planet we couldn't live on sustainably anyway. Oh no, we're not going to go to the moon again? Oh, hey NASA, why don't you figure out how to get the carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere? How about that one? You know that little skimmer on the ocean that kid invented that sucks in the junk plastic off the top? How about that up in the sky? Up at the highest level of the atmosphere, sucking in the carbon, just getting it out of the atmosphere. Carbon, whatever it is. However, figure it the fuck out. We got to the moon. And in doing so, created a pen that could write upside down. Oh my God. How about removing carbon dioxide from the fucking atmosphere? Eh? And how about government? We stop producing. We tell those people, stop it. Instead of rolling back these protections we put in place to stop us from this brink of ecological and economic madness. Because if you think the coronavirus has been bad on our economy, if the wildfires in Australia, if the droughts in California, if the tsunamis and the earthquakes haven't started to inform you that shit's really serious, then I guess we deserve to be wiped off and let Earth figure out what the next species to evolve intelligence is if it needs it. Because I'll go back to the Matrix at this point. We're just a virus and we're fucking it up. And if I'm challenging your concepts at any level and at any point, I'm going to ask you, reach out, comment. You'll see the email on my card at the beginning and at the end. Let's have a conversation because I want to understand your point of view. I want to understand because I know I operate from fear. Fear of dying, fear of not having what I need, fear of not being taken care of, fear of being alone. Fear. I can phrase them more positively, but it's the truth of the human animal. Will I live? Will I die? Will I live? Will I die? Will I live? Will I die? What am I getting? Am I getting it? Am I getting it? Am I getting it? And most of the things that we face as the human animal, by the way, at work and in other places, is simply the endocrine system's response and how we're processing that because we can no longer kill or run away the thing that's fucking with us. Johnson, your report was late and filled with misspellings and error-ridden. The animal wants to run away, or the animal wants to kill the thing that's threatening it. The human has evolved a society in which we have to always work together with people we don't know. Outside of our herd, our tribe, our clan, whatever you want to call the comfort zone, the 126 people that we're capable of handling the relationships of. You're a foreigner. And the animal responds as such. I don't know you. You aren't safe. I either have to run away from you or kill you. And the emotional system kicks in and goes, yes, sir. I'm going to get off of work and, oh, that fucking asshole. Jeez, wow. If I tell you what, if I ever catch him in an alley, because we have to work it off. Now, I found out about this from my therapist. multiple therapists, but this was the guy who really kind of locked me into what was going on with me. And he said, the lion and the dik-dik in Africa have an interesting relationship. And I snickered at the term dik-dik. Dik-dik is a small antelope, lives in Africa. The lion hunts it. When the lion captures the dik-dik will go limp, as if it were dead. At which point, its nervous system is in a hyper-aroused state. I giggled at that when he said it. And he said, we have work to do. And we did. And what he said was, every system is on as possible to bring in as much information as possible, so that in the event that if the lion gets distracted and believes the dik-dik to be dead, it will put the dik-dik down and go deal with its problem. And the dik-dik will then spring up and run off. And when it knows it's safe, it will then stand there and go until it's burned off all of the energy that it was holding on to for fleeing. And when it's done, off it goes, nibbling grass, back to the herd, drinking water, and knows, don't ever get caught by a lion, but if you do, wait. And that's what goes on inside of us every time we face a conflict or a confrontation. As the endocrine system kicks off, fight or flight. And right now we have a globe filled with flight or fight. And the impulse is not to give in to fight or to flight or to let the emotions rule you, but to understand that you can take these emotions, think critically about the situation that you are in, and find your new normal, your new way of taking care of you, so that your uncertainty diminishes and your confidence starts to grow. And everything you find that works for you, you share with those you know. Because when you do that, you're helping everyone else. I found this and it works for me. You try it. And they'll say, thank you, I'll try it. I tried this too, and you should try that. And now we're starting to blend our ideas. And this is what collaboration is really all about. Because when everybody is engaged in the same conversation and works through their understandings of what words mean and what outcomes we all want, then we can come to a common agreement and move in that direction. Every significant accomplishment that has ever been achieved in humanity has always been because of a clear and focused vision of a new reality that was possible. So what's our new reality? What do we want of this world in this opportunity? Because it is an opportunity. And we have to be courageous enough to face it, not the disruption, which is easy to do, but the opportunities. So tell me your opportunities. You tell me your fresh perspectives. This is Jesse Perlman. Thank you.